Hello, hello, hello. This is Tom from Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures. I'm doing a test here on this XSplit to see how we do. We got a side by side. I'm going to start a video here.
A little bit more work.
And
things we want to do.
Here we go.
It's the same old thing. You never get done, and once you get done, you have to start all over again, right? Today, I want to talk about something that I had questions about. So here we go. The questions are from office, CDO office.
Here we go.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Tom from Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures. Today I'm over here at the Blessing House. We actually cleaned it up. It's looking pretty good over here. Still got a little bit more work. We got things we want to do. It's the same old thing. You never get done, and once you get done, you have to start all over again, right? Today I want to talk about something that I had questions about. So here we go. The questions are from Mr. Paul and Mr. Carl. Is BI open? Where I particularly live, I'm living in Mindinao, Mindinao Bukidnon, and the office is open in Davao as of today. You can do online. If you would go online in Facebook, you'll find the office registration for the Bureau of Immigration and for Davao office. CDO office has phone numbers listed, but they're, I guess, overwhelmed, not answering the phone or whatever. But CDO office, I'm not sure about. I do not know. But I do know that the BI office is open in Davao. But today I want to talk about other things also. Is if you're coming to the Philippines and you're actually planning on living here, it is a great place to live. It is a great place to be. You have to be prepared for things that, the uncertain things. Your hospital, make sure you have hospital care and things like that. But one thing I want to really talk about today is I have a friend, Mr. Paul, became ill. He just not feeling well. So he went to the doctor, and the doctor says he's doing pretty good. They can't figure out what's wrong with him. He's just no energy, just down. He doesn't have any kind of sickness or virus or cold or anything like that, and he's can't figure it out. And so I was thinking, I said, well, are you getting eating? Were you eating things like that? And really, overall, the doctor came upon the conclusion was exhausted and stressed. He's retired. He has no stress. The children that are there don't make any noise, don't bother him, things like that. And what I mean by this is he's retired and he's stressed out and exhausted. Why? Because of the honey badger has something that is actually taken his energy, because he's continually online reading this, reading that, on news, this, that, and he caused himself to get tired and frustrated and exhausted over looking at all the stuff that's going on. He's listening to Fox News, he's listening to CNN, he's listening to whatever news. HBO has a news station, I understand. He said, I don't know, I didn't know they even had one. But there's actually, of course, ABS-CBN's not here anymore. But there's actually new Channel 5 and 7 and GMA and all. The news here is really not the problem, he said. It's the news he's getting from USA. And what I mean by that is, he said, it's so stressful, all the things. And I says, man, you're living here now. You're not living in the U.S. and you need to kind of cut the cord from that. And I told him. I also got an email from a different guy, and the same thing. He said he is exhausted and tired, and come to find out, it's actually three things. It was the news, it was the stress of the honey badger, constantly worrying about it, his family's out, this, that, and other, and he's not getting enough exercise himself to keep things going. And what I mean by that, he said, is that he goes out, he exercises, and he stops, and he just doesn't have enough energy because, as you know, when you exercise, your stamina gets here, right? And then when you don't, you find yourself tired at a certain level and depressed and things like that. So what you have to do, you have to keep yourself active doing something. Whether it's just, if you can't go outside your house, if you can't go out in the lobby and things like this. Now, this one particular gentleman emailed me. He lives up in Manila, and he lives in a condo association. And his name's John. And he says that he can't, what he does for exercise, he goes up down the stairs. I think he stays on the 5th floor. Literally, he just goes up down the stairs. Now, does he go all the way down? No, he goes down 2 or 3 flights and back up 2 or 3 flights. Or he'll go, down 3 and then up 5 and back down to his floor or whatever. And so he figures out something to do, and that's what he's doing for his exercise. And he does that 2 or 3 times a week. And during the other times, instead of him sitting and watching TV, he stands and watches TV. Or a computer and things like that. Now, a computer and all that stuff can take a lot of energy away by you sitting there watching it all the time. But really, you get the task, you want to do this, you want to do that, or you're on YouTube, or you're doing a live stream, or you're doing talking to your friends and family. You're maybe not meeting as you once were at one time, having coffee or things like that, because a lot of guys do that, having breakfast and lunches and dinners, but they find themselves spending time elsewhere. But I do want to say you have to keep yourself pretty active. Yeah, you got to do something. Now, and of course, even myself, during this time, we are still under what they call modified. But there's no 16 and 21-year-olds asking everybody, please kind of stay in. They're not, well, yeah, they are checking. I can't say they're not checking. Yeah, they're checking. They're making sure that you're queuing in time to make sure your temperature is good and make things like that. And yes, they still have a few checkpoints. Not in a bad way. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing when somebody's trying to make sure you're safe and healthy and they're protecting their family. There's nothing wrong with that. And I appreciate everybody doing that. And that's the thing people got to understand. And that's just the way it is. Now, all I can speak about what's going on here for me, I can't speak what's going on with anybody in the U.S. or any other part of the Philippines. But for me, here in the Philippines, that's what it is. You have to make sure. Now, I'm out in the province. I could get away walking around, but believe it or not, they were doing, LTO was up here again recently. They were just there 3 days ago, and it's recently yesterday afternoon, and they were doing checkpoints and things like that. And so what they do is they come out in the province, country, and they check driver's license, make sure there's only one on a motorcycle. They make sure that people are wearing masks and adhering to the laws. And shout out for the guys doing that. But now, what you can do, if anybody has a visa and need to have it extended, you can just go online. I think it's bidavo@gmail.com if you live in the area, and you go online and schedule your visa renewal, and they'll give you a date, and you just go back in, and you have to go that day, whatever day they give you. Now, if you're supposed to leave the country, I don't know how they're going to handle that other than you go there, and I don't know, you have to figure it out, because it's not your fault that you passed the exit date to leave the country, right? Because you're under lockdown. I don't know how they're going to handle that, but right now the office is open in Davao. I don't know anywhere else. All I know is where I live in Davao, Bukidnon. We checked online yesterday, and I found this information out from my friend Mike Serliner and my friend Fred from British Expat. They actually gave me this information. British Expat actually went in there and got his extended before. They were doing test trials. How they're going to do it, I guess the layout's way different than what it was. And he happened to get lucky one day he went there. Now, my friend Mike went there, and he went there, and the doors are locked, but they gave him information, and he did get a particular appointment at a certain date and time, or a certain date. I don't know about anything about time, but anyway, I'm just saying that if you're doing that, make sure you take your time and do that and get that to them if you need to have an extension. And it has on there 13A and things like that, so you can easily go online and find that through Facebook. Is other offices you can call. You can check online. I did check online. It's not listed to them as open yet, and that was as of a few hours ago. But I do say this: if you come to the Philippines, please take your time, Find something to enhance your mind. Find something to enhance your body, whatever that is. If it's just walking up a flight of stairs, if it's just doing a little something to keep yourself in some type of shape, because you will find yourself wake up one day and you're really weak and tired. And do not let the news and all the things influence you in a bad way, because it can. If you sit and listen to it, it puts these negative thoughts in your mind, and all of a sudden you become a negative person that you're normally not. We are who we are from the environment we're in. I don't care what anybody says. If we're in a happy environment, we're going to be happy. If we're in a sad environment, we're going to be sad. So it's like anything else I've always said for a long time is, you are who you are. Nobody can change you but yourself. But the guys are telling me they're getting a little bit more stressed, and yes, I'm still getting emails, and yes, I'm still getting people in the bad situations, meaning, just problems in life. Am I getting as much as I was before? Actually, I'm getting more than I ever got before. And because of the times and the things we're going through. And it's just emails, hey, what do I do? Have you heard anything of this? Have you heard anything of that? What's going on with this? What's going on with that? And what they do, they'll hit me up, they'll hit the other vloggers up, and
Nico's
the same
wife
questions,
is getting
the same
flour,
manner.
yes.
Hey, did you hear?
You
You
heard
hear?
that,
Because
so.
you're always on edge. You don't want to be in trouble. You want to make sure everything's okay. And it's okay to be like that.
Honey
But
badger,
then I
you
have
get
my
flour.
good friends that always, we just talk back and forth, just calm and talk about things that we talk regularly, Then I have some, like I said, that just email them and ask me questions, ask me this, ask me that, just find out information. And it's understandable. A lot of people don't have, some guys don't even have TV. Some guys don't even have electricity up in the mountain. They're foreigners. They want to live that way. They like it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have a friend, I don't even know if he's even come down out of the mountain. He's up in the mountains. There's no electricity or anything. I know he knows what's going on because he's got to get some type of food. But he's living on, him and his wife and family been living off land. It's not like they were tribal. It's just they figured it out. They just figured it out. He said, I might spend $100 a month on everything I have. And that's personal care, toothpaste and things like that, aspirin and things like that when he comes to town. Other than that, he don't spend any money at all, because why would he spend money, right? He's growing his own food. He has everything, has chicken, and has everything. They're growing everything they need. They have everything. They have a farm, and so they have corn, and he does a little bit of packaging. So that's the thing we got to start thinking about too, is just be prepared for things that when possibly you can't get a can of pork and beans or something like that. You have to figure that out. I know I'm rambling on, but I want to bring this up a little bit because people are getting tired. They're getting bored. They're getting tired. And they can't figure out why they're so lethargic all the time. It's because they're not active. It's because they're not doing things. A lot of times it's not necessarily that. A lot of times it's just the environment. They're putting their mind in that world of news, watching. I watch news hour a day. 20, 30 minutes in the morning, 20, 30 minutes in the afternoon, maybe an hour in the afternoon. It's usually Filipino, and I don't understand any of it other than, hey, what happened? And I ask the girls, and they'll tell me. Because I want to always kind of keep up what's going on, because you never know what's going on around you. So it's a good thing to keep up with that. But I want to talk about that today and kind of let everybody give their input on that and see what everybody thinks about that. But I want to thank everybody for always watching the channel, and thank you for everybody for always coming on. And thank you for the guys that are emailing me and asking me questions. And I have a lot of people asking me questions about the expendable house. And yes, I'll do another video on that. And yes, I'll do another video on the e-bikes, because I understand there's gasoline that is hard to get in some areas. So I will do a video about my e-bikes again, so that way you guys will have that. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank everybody for coming on. And thank you so much.
Well, he finally got tired of talking, and I'm teasing. I did this as a test. I wanted to see how this is going to come across, and as someone that's doing this, I want to at least let everybody have a good idea on what is happening here in the Philippines and always keep everybody aware of things. Now, also too, as I forgot, as I was jabbering there for a minute or two, I want everybody to really realize also that we are living in times that are different for us, and we just have to be able to adjust for that. And I see that during this time, I happened to look. In fact, Ara just showed me that there is, I guess, shortages on some of the marketplace items as far as lettuce and tomatoes and things like that. It was somebody talking about that. They were saying, does anybody have any good lettuce and tomatoes they would like to barter for? So there's a lot of bartering going on, which is a good thing, and I think that's what Ruth is doing out there now. She's bartering for something or giving away flowers or something to the family. But there's a lot of bartering going on with flowers and things like that for things. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So we're going back to the days where we did bartering, and that's a good thing. So this stream has been on 16 minutes. Main thing, I was checking to see how many frames are dropped. I only dropped 120 frames, which is unusual, which is fantastic. For 14 minutes, it had no drop, or 15 minutes had no drop frames, and they have just dropped recently. So I cannot beat that. And I'm looking at the timestamp and what's going on with it and how the video is actually perceived. I did a test before to make sure the bytes and information. This availability gives me availability to change anything at any time where I can't do it on YouTube. YouTube has limitations on what they want to stream, and I understand that. Thank you very much, and I want to thank everybody for watching. I hear them out there talking.